everyone, to our first in a series of podcasts called Giving 101. I'm Father Derek Larson, the Assistant Rector here at Good Shepherd Episcopal Church, and I am here with our Rector, Father Doug Scharf, and parishioner Teresa Grasshoff, who serves on a number of committees, including our giving team. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about giving and why it is that we give. So this is the first in a series of 4 podcasts. For the next 4 weeks, we'll be talking about giving. This week, we started off our giving campaign. So this week, we're just going to start with some basic questions around why it is that we give. So let's just jump right in with the question, why do we need to have this podcast? Why is it important to understand why we give?
You know, that was the giving team back in the beginning a couple of years ago, and really Father Doug starting all of that started with the question of why, and we got why cards. Everybody might remember that we were handed out these cards. We filled out these cards just right off of our heart, right off of our head. Why? And this question feels like it's something that's out in our culture a lot right now. What's your why? My why, part of my why, the top of my why is my spiritual life, my spiritual growth, my family's spiritual growth. And so I've got to give to that. I've got to invest my time into that. I've got to invest my gifts into that, which also includes, my money into that, and learn to grow in that space in my why.
Yeah. We started with that question, why, because I think it's so important to be able to clearly articulate why it is that we are part of Good Shepherd, why it is that we want to give of ourselves, our resources, our money, our time, and our talent. And it's also a reminder that giving is part of our journey of discipleship, right? It's not something separate. We often kind of compartmentalize things where we think about church in terms of worship and outreach and formation and all the visible things that we participate in. But our giving and our support of that is part of what it means to be together as a community of disciples. And so I just want to encourage us as we start this giving campaign to really think about the integration of our why we do what we do, why we give to support that, because it's all part of our journey as followers of Jesus and as disciples.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And I really love the intentionality of the question. It's sort of a general question, but there's so much intentionality in it. As someone who's sort of new to Good Shepherd, I've been here almost 3 months. I was really excited to hear about the giving team, which is where some of these questions came from and the intentionality of it. Can you tell us more about the role of the giving team at Good Shepherd?
Well, the giving team started just over 2 years ago in 2019. We have other groups in the church that oversee our financial management. We have a finance committee and an investment committee. But the giving team is really different because it's about ministry, and it's about empowering all of us to engage in the ministry of giving and being stewards of what God has given us. And that also means creating a culture of generosity. That's another key word that we've been talking about a lot the last couple of years, is what does it mean to be a community that really embraces generosity as a core value to who we are, not just once a month, not just when we're talking about our estimates of giving or our pledges for the next year, but all year round, to be a community that is characterized by generosity. So the giving team is all about creating resources and opportunities to explore what that means.
And we've spent a lot of time, you were talking about the culture of generosity, and we've spent a lot of time in the giving team talking about that and learning about that ourselves and the spirituality of giving. And, is there a spirituality to giving? Yes, there is. a spirituality to giving, and to really think about that and to dig into that, and to learn about that, which we've done a lot of, and which we want to continue to work to share and inspire the rest of the congregation to think about, really think about that, and to learn more about it and to dig into it more. I love the work that we've done in the spirituality of giving, and look forward to just everybody being able to learn more there, dig deeper.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that the giving team has worked on is our generosity statement, which I think most of us have probably received the bookmark that came this past Sunday. I don't have one with me at this moment. There it is. Yeah. So
I'll be your show and tell person.
Perfect. So we have this this beautiful generosity statement that I think really points to the spirituality of generosity and of giving. So can you tell us a little bit about how the generosity statement helps us understand our giving and why we give?
The very beginning of it, all we are and all we have come from God. What a great place to stop and to stand and to think, and like I said, to dig into, and then what do we do now once we start coming and recognizing that? I love the whole generosity statement, and we shared last year when we were at about the same time of year that the statement comes from the words that came from the whole concepts and ideas that were on the why cards. And so this is a statement that is our statement as our Good Shepherd family. And I really hope that people will sit with it and think about it. That this truly is each of us in these words, but we've got to spend time in them.
And I think it's a powerful statement and reminder that giving, generosity, is central to who we are, right? Going back to these things we've already talked about as followers of Jesus, as disciples, as a community, that if we value it, then we should be able to articulate what that means for each one of us. The statement really has three parts. It begins with what we believe. And so it's grounded theologically, what we believe about God, what we believe about generosity. The next section is what we commit to do based on what we believe. What do we commit ourselves to do in our lives and in terms of the resources God has given us? And then it ends with an invitation, right? An invitation to every member of the community to be a part of that. So it's a simple statement, but profoundly deep, I think, as well, when we think about God in our lives, the journey of discipleship, and why giving is such an important part of that.
I think it's beautiful. It reminds me a lot of maybe a communal rule of life. It's a really beautiful invitation, I think. So this week we've started the giving campaign. What can we do to deepen our commitment to generosity and to understand more fully why it is that we give?
Well, the word that comes to mind for me is integration, right? I just really want people to think about giving and generosity in terms of the whole of their life. As a follower of Jesus, we're also looking at spiritual gifts this fall, right? Which are part of what we are entrusted as stewards of God. So it's not just our money and finances and other resources; it's the whole of our life that has been entrusted to us. So to really think in integrated ways about giving and generosity and how we express that through our lives.
Yeah. And to that, I think I go back again to spending time with the generosity statement. I would just encourage everybody to read it, to think about it, and I think integration is a great word. Integrating, those are our whys, and takes some work to go through this process and to make a change and to integrate. That's a big word. So, I would just invite everybody to spend some time in the generosity statement and think deeply about it.
And I would just add, we filled out these why cards 2 years ago. This is not something you do once and you're done, right? Answering this question, why, is an ongoing process. And so I would encourage people to consider that question as well. Why are you part of Good Shepherd? Why do you give? What's important? What motivates you in your spiritual life and your relationship with God?
Yeah, that's great. That's really, really important, really great start to our giving campaign. Well, I'm excited about this season of reflecting on our giving. I'm excited about this podcast series where we're going to be doing this, like I said, for 4 weeks. Next week, I get an opportunity to speak with a professor of mine and some of our conversations around theology of giving and generosity. So I hope you'll pay attention next week as well as we talk to my professor. Thank you so much, Father Doug and Teresa, for sharing with us today. I think is a really powerful discussion, and thank you all for listening. We'll see you next week.